So we're gonna talk goats. And I know you said you can't compare eras and all of that, but I know you also enjoy the goat conversation. And so, I've already named a lot of the stars that you've played with and against. So first, I wanna get this answer from you. Who was the toughest in your time to play against?
Wow, the toughest. Like, it's not one person or one player, because whether it was the Sparks, you have Lisa. If it's the Comets, you got Coop, Cheryl, you got Tina. Like, who do you focus on? And the supporting cast, Yolanda, you know, it was no, you had to try to limit them, limit all of them, you know. They're all such good players, and they're all tough for different reasons. Yo's arms are so long, you can do all the boxing out you want to. Unless you sit on her knees and take them completely out and move her out away from the basket, she's gonna get a rebound. Tina has an array of moves, so you had to prepare for everything, but you couldn't stop those players. Lisa, just a dominant force. So the toughest player, every night was tough. Every night was tough. And I think that's just the true respect of the league, right? Because there was no team, even with Utah, we were at the bottom of the league. You had to come and play, or we're gonna sneak up on you. You know, you got to defend. So the toughest, couldn't stop Coop and her Euro step. Lisa was just a competitor. Tina, Cheryl, and I don't care how many times you say, make Cheryl go a certain way, she's still gonna score. Then you have Spoon, who wasn't necessarily a offensive presence, but she was a general. She was gonna run her team. You have Becky Hammond. So many great, Andrea Stinson. You know, you got Dawn. So many great players. I mean, and that was such a special time. I can't say who was the toughest, because every night you're gonna have to bring your game. You gotta play.
So, if there's a GOAT, does it come out of your era? Or are we looking prior to your era, maybe a Cheryl Miller? Or are we looking here lately, maybe a Diana Taurasi, maybe even a Maya Moore? I know her career ended a little early. She went on to do other things, but
I think it's, if you want to talk GOAT, it's two names. I mean, I played with one, played against the other, DT, and then you got Subi. Like, they entered the league early enough to be, you know, old school, and here they are still playing. So
you're
they
talking
do
about Diana
transcend.
Taurasi
Yeah,
and Sue Bird.
yeah, they transcend the time frame. So to see how they can stay in the game and stay, I mean, Diana Taurasi, I don't care. You can put your best defensive player on her, and I have been on the court, just like, all you can do is, yo, D, good shot, and just run back, you know, because just players. They're players, and every year they've reinvented themselves, and then they're so smart and so knowledgeable that, you know, physically, they don't have the physical capability that these young kids coming in, but they're so much smarter in terms of knowing the game, knowing, oh, I know she's about to go here because she's just so green, and yeah, she can jump out the gym, I'm gonna get in the air, I'm gonna go through, I'm going to. So stuff like that, right? You can't teach someone who just out of college. That's experience. So if you want to talk GOAT that transcends eras, you got to talk those two. You got to talk Coop, because Coop was during a time period that nobody saw, so they were not able to witness her doing it over in Italy, like just tearing up the Italian league. But she came here
And took it by storm.
man, and it saddens me that Houston doesn't have a team, because I just feel like the league should have did all it could to hold on. But again, the league was trying to grow. It was trying to stay. And so the Houston team, but it's there. Those first 4 years, they ran it.
Yeah. All right, so getting back to some of your experiences. During your latter years, you did step into coaching. So what made you want to coach?
You know, I think it was just a natural progression. A lot of my friends were getting into coaching, and I actually enjoy teaching and helping and nurturing and mentoring. And I think it was just a natural progression to go into coaching. I got the opportunity at VCU while I was still playing, which that is sheer insanity. I don't recommend that. Looking back, I wish I had just focused and gotten all my playing out, because I would have been a better coach, because it's hard to try to do both. Then Kentucky, then Virginia, and then as a head coach, you know, I was blessed to get the opportunity. It didn't turn out how I wanted to. The people don't understand, when you're coaching, you're not just, you might be the head coach, but you're not just coaching. The coaching part is like probably 10 to 15% of what you do. It's the managing of people that I grew very tired of, because everybody didn't have the same drive and focus that I had in terms of what I wanted to do. So that hiring piece and managing, the kids are going to be kids, athletes are going to be athletes. But it was a natural progression. I learned a lot. And it was a part of my life. Like for a while, when I left coaching, when I got out of coaching, it was not something I would even talk about, because it wasn't, the last portion of my coaching career was not, it was hard. That time as a head coach was hard, and I didn't enjoy it. And as much as I enjoyed coaching, it wasn't until I got my travel team that I was able to realize, okay, this is what coaching for me should be. Coaching is great for people, right? It's great for a lot of people, but it just wasn't for me. Again, I learned a lot. It was a great experience. I have so much respect for lifers, as we call them, because it's a hard life. Like once I got out of coaching, I was able to see the seasons change, and maybe I wasn't as mindful while I was in it so that I could see it. And that's just me personally, because I was just always trying to get my program going, just trying to get my program. You're recruiting. After the season, you jump right into recruiting. After recruiting, you got kids in summer school. It's very important to me where I am in my life to be in the moment. And I want to be fully present. I have a beautiful son. I have a 4-year-old. And you can be a coach, a college coach, and have a child. People do it all the time. But for me, I enjoy being in the moment and present and nurturing my child and mentoring him and, you know, other kids as well. So, yeah, coaching it's interesting.
And now, again, a lot of this conversation has been a conversation that only you can have, as far as the residents and the natives of Person County. You are one of one in Person County. But we don't want you to be one of one. we want other people to join that number, join that air of being a professional athlete. What do we have to do to get some of our talented athletes to that level?
So a lot of people don't make the pro, right? Because it's hard. But I think we have to do a better job in Person County. Like, this is a melting pot of talent. You have one high school, main, like, county school. You do have a charter, but you still have talent here. And we have to find a way to nurture that talent and expose them to things outside of Person County. So if that's the former town, a team, whatever team it may be, it could be a softball team, it could be whatever, a basketball team, but we have to get them exposure that you're from Person County, but if you want to be a professional, you're gonna have to work hard, you're gonna have to see different things, you're gonna have to be exposed to different things. You gotta understand the discipline that goes behind being a high school athlete, because that's where it starts, right? There's not many people pulling Kevin Garnett's going straight to the pros. And those positions are so very few. You gotta do your schoolwork, you gotta prepare, because basketball is going, like, the sport is gonna stop, but you gotta have a level of discipline, hard work, and dedication to give it your all. And you have to understand that even in focusing and doing all you can, you may not make it pro. I do feel that there's more people. I don't want to be here by myself. I want to see more people from my hometown making it and doing. I want to sit in the stands and support more people. We got to give back. And we got to give back to everybody, not just one section of people. You got to give back to everybody. And we got to invest. We got to invest in our youth. We got to open up some things in this community. There's no sense we don't have a swimming pool that everyone can go to. Like, we need something community-wide that our youth can go to that can foster the discipline, the hard work, and the determination. Those things need to happen. It's 2022. It's past time.
One of the things that I think needs to happen is we have to remember who came along, who paved the way. Because if you forget what somebody did as soon as they retire, as soon as they sit down from their sport or their craft or their, if they were a great teacher, great principal, and then you forget what they brought to the table, you can't build off of it. You put Person County on your back, and you took us to heights unseen previously, and quite frankly, we haven't gotten close since, though we still have a young man like Darius McGee and Tyrone Outlaw Jr., who have done well on the college level recently. But you took us to the All-Star game, things like that. Tell us how it feels to know that this community sometimes forgets so quickly and so easily, and how that's hurting us.
I think one of the problems is we don't use our resources. Being from this community, and especially have been back for a couple of years, I've been right here. No one's approached me to ask me. I have just as much knowledge about athletics than a lot of people in positions, but we don't get those opportunities to be able to allow our voice to be heard. I remember fighting with people, not physically fighting, but demanding that my media relations person would not allow someone to say I was from Durham, North Carolina, because it's the closest. I would always say I'm from Timberlake, North Carolina. I'm from Person County. And I made sure that the broadcasters, the sports analysis, they would say that because I love home, right? This is my home. How does it feel to be forgotten? It's painful. It's very painful to know that a place that you hold so dear to your heart and that you fought for that name to be heard in places that it never will be, it's hurtful. But that's not going to stop me from continuing to give back where I can, when I can, and how I can. Because God gave me this light, right? And if I wasn't supposed to come back to stay, I was supposed to allow this light to shine so bright that other people can see it and understand and realize that they can dream the most impossible dream and achieve it. I remember sitting on the basketball court that my dad had built, dreaming of things that wasn't even there. Like, I was like, I'm gonna play basketball one day and get paid for it. Had no idea that it would come true. But nobody was getting paid. Women weren't getting paid for basketball that I saw at the time. Lo and behold, they were doing that overseas. But I'm going to continue to let my light shine. And I want generations unborn in Person County, to know that you can make it, that you can get opportunities that growing up, I only saw in books, right? But they have the internet. There's no dream that's impossible. You can be whatever you want to be. And all the people that are telling you what you can't be, you just have to use that for fuel and motivation. We have to stop holding people back, and we got to start lifting people up and helping them get in positions where they can fulfill their dream.
Wendy Palmer, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Thank you for letting your legendary light shine on us for a little bit, and we wish you continued success in everything that you're involved in, and we just are glad to have you not only on Just Love in person, not only on Just Love Stories, but as a fellow persona. Thank you so much.
Thank you.